back to another video. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jaquetta Witherspoon, and I am just here to give an update on my first trimester of pregnancy. I am now in my second trimester, actually only a few weeks out from my third trimester, but life happens and sometimes you just do things a little bit late. So better late than never, but I'm here to give an update on my first trimester of pregnancy. So I'm going to start off with the symptoms. First of all, I am 24 weeks and 3 days today. So yeah, needless to say, I am doing this first trimester update a little late, but I wanted to get it done before I got out of my second trimester. But anyway, I'm going to start off with the symptoms from my first trimester. One of the first symptoms I had, one of the most severe symptoms I had in my first trimester was fatigue. I was extremely tired all the time. I had no energy for anything. I had no motivation. I could barely pull myself up out of the bed daily to get simple tasks done. And that was from literally from the point that I found out that I was pregnant up until probably a week before I entered into my second trimester. I started to gain my energy back a little bit then. But yes, I was extremely exhausted. I was extremely fatigued. Another symptom was bloating. I felt like I started to show a little bit early. And maybe that's because I had prior pregnancies. I have 2 girls, and I had 2 miscarriages in 2020. And I feel like because my body has already been through pregnancy, that my stomach started to expand a little bit more. But I don't know, I just feel that way. But I do know for a fact that I did start showing a little bit early. I was growing pretty rapidly. Bloating contributed to a lot of that weight as well. So I know it wasn't all baby, I know, but the weight didn't go away. Like it stayed and it continued to grow. So another symptom I had was nausea. I started feeling nauseous maybe a week after I found out. And I found out I was expecting, well, according to my pre-mom app, it was 10 DPO, but I found out later on that I was a little further along than I thought I was. So it was probably about 5 weeks when I started feeling nausea. In that 5th week of pregnancy, I actually vomited a few times, but that was the only time I really vomited. But I did have nausea throughout my entire first trimester. And that was completely different from my previous pregnancies because with my other 2 girls, I didn't have any morning sickness at all. With my second daughter, I may have vomited once, and that was due to eating something that didn't agree with my stomach that day. But other than that, I didn't feel nauseous at all with them. But this one, I was nauseous every day. There probably wasn't a day in my first trimester after, well, once I hit that 5th week that I was not nauseous. I was nauseous all the time. And the only thing that really seemed to help with the nausea was at first drinking water, eating or drinking something cold, like maybe milk, like almond milk or something, and eating something salty or something. That was the only thing that really kind of helped with the nausea. And chewing gum. Let's see. Another reason why I chewed gum a lot in my first trimester, because I kept this metallic taste in my mouth all the time, and it's still there from time to time. It's not as bad as it was in the first trimester, but it was horrible. and it's still horrible from some days. I don't know if it's because of the prenatal vitamins that I was taking, what that I am taking, um, or if that was, or if it was just because of the hormones. But I didn't like that at all. Anything I ate or drank left that metallic taste in my mouth. At some point, water and tea would help, but then um, that changed, and then they neither one of those were no longer helping at all, and they were kind of making it worse. So anytime I would drink water or tea, I would still taste that metallic taste in my mouth, and it would get a little bit worse. So that was another symptom. And if you see me looking down, it's because I wrote down some notes. And I just wrote these notes, so I may have forgotten a few things from the first trimester, but I'm doing my best to remember as much as I can, so that I can get this video out. Another something I had in my first trimester was leg cramps. With all of my pregnancies, even sometimes before I found out I was pregnant, this was one of the indications that I was pregnant. In the back of my calf would always get tight. I would always get cramps in the back of my calf muscles, and that was always a telltale sign that something was going on different in my body. With I experienced it with both my girls and with my previous pregnancy in 2020. The first and second one, I also felt the leg cramps even before I took the pregnancy test. So that was another symptom. I could be laying around, I could be walking. It didn't matter. I would always feel that tightening in the back of my leg. And another symptom I had in my first trimester was moodiness. That was probably my first sign, and I say that because I wouldn't have known I was pregnant other than being emotional. I wouldn't have known to take a test other than me feeling emotional. I was working from home, and I had a couple of days that I was at work and I just could not take it anymore. Like I had to log out, clock out, and try to get myself together. And I'm not really a big crier for any little thing. Like it takes quite a bit to get me really emotional to where I'm in tears. And so these couple of days, like I was in tears, and I asked myself, that's what made me take the test, because I was like, I'm never this emotional, especially letting something like this make me cry. So that's what made me take the test. And that's when I got my positive because I was feeling moody and emotional, along with the moodiness. It felt more like depression. And I did a little chuckle, but it's not really a laughing matter. But I was extremely excited, still extremely excited. But the first trimester, I felt depressed. Like I said, I couldn't pull myself out of the bed. I was just in a funk all the time. And I used to always, when I was talking to my family and people close to me, I would say that I'm happy. Like this is one of the best times in my life. Like I've prayed for this for so long, but for some reason, like I feel depressed. Like I feel like I'm in a depression. Like I said, I had no motivation to do anything, so I stayed in the bed a whole lot. Even when I tried to pull myself up, it was like my mind was always, and I'm a person that has dealt with depression the majority of my life anyway, but I've come to, learn how to pull myself out of that and know, when to consult with someone and talk to someone about it. But I wasn't sure if it was just the hormones or if I was really in a depression during this time. And that was one of the most disturbing symptoms that I had in my first trimester. It could have been due to the hormones as well, because now I don't really feel depressed since I transitioned into my second trimester. I haven't really felt depressed, but and granted, you know, life happens. You know, there could be other contributing factors, you know, other than just the pregnancy. And I felt like it was because my mind didn't know whether to be happy about the pregnancy or be afraid, because I had experienced miscarriages before, and I was scared. I am feeling much better now. And I'm glad that I'm out of that state. I am able to embrace my pregnancy now, and um, I'm just grateful and thankful and blessed that I'm here, and I can't wait to meet. I can't wait to meet my new baby. The cravings that I had in my first trimester was anything salty and anything spicy. Wives' tales say that if you crave something salty or spicy, then that's an indication that it's a boy. It wasn't true in my case. If you watch my previous videos, we did find out that we are having another little girl, and I am just as grateful, just as thankful, just as blessed to be welcoming another baby girl into our family. Fit perfectly in our little crew, in our family. Um, but yeah, so those were my cravings. Was anything salty, anything spicy. Um, Say for instance, I had a lot of mango habanero wings, hot wings, um, sunflower seeds, because they help with the metallic taste in my mouth, and because I felt like I always had to have something salty or spicy in my mouth. Shrimp balls with the spicy sauce. Anything that I was eating had to have like hot sauce or some type of salt on it. So yes, that's what I craved a lot in my first trimester, and still to this day now. I ate a lot of fruit, but I didn't really crave a lot of fruit. Um, but Strawberries, grapes, oranges, just any kind of fruit. I ate a lot of fruit and drank a lot of water, but my cravings were really salty and spicy things. Other factors that contribute that were a part of my first trimester was I found out at 10 DPO the line was very strong. Well, according to my pre-mom app, I was 10 DPO. If you watched one of my other previous videos about me finding out I was pregnant, or how I found out I was pregnant, or how I was testing, it was the number 10 that made me go into testing. And it was because one of those things was because the app was saying that I was 10 DPO. Um, but we had a private scan on in early November, because all of the OBGYNs and doctors were booked, and so it was hard to get an appointment. So to help me not feel so anxious and be so scared, and to know that everything was going well, I wanted to make sure that I got checked early as I possibly could. So we had a private scan around 8 weeks. I think that was the early, yeah, 8 weeks. I think that was the earliest that we could do the private scan, or maybe we could do it at 7 weeks, I think. But once we did go in for that private scan, we found out that everything was perfectly fine. And I was measuring a week ahead, so I was 9 weeks at that point. I went in thinking I was 8 weeks, but then the ultrasound measured the baby at 9 weeks, and everything was in place. I had the text said that I had a cyst, but it was a good cyst. It was a cyst that, and I'll have to find the correct name for it and all of that. But she said that it had all everything that the baby needed and I needed to could make sure that my pregnancy was healthy and smooth. And I'll try to. I don't know much about it, so I'll try to look up some information on it. And so yeah, that was pretty much my first trimester. It was, I say, it wasn't as bad. I never really had a horrible pregnancy, thank God. Um, Other than the miscarriages I had. Um, but I say that to say I didn't have with any of my kids. My first trimester wasn't really horrible, wasn't really bad. As most people, as I know most people have, had. I haven't dealt with a lot of morning sickness, vomiting or anything. I did deal with a lot of nausea this time around, and this fatigue and the what I felt like was depression was probably the worst part for me. Um, and I think with the depression or the moodiness, emotional, whatever you want to call it, I think that's probably natural for someone who has, for anybody, because you're going to be worried um, anytime you conceive and anytime you're carrying a child. It is worries that come with it automatically, and you're going to always be worrying about your child and their health and their safety and everything. But especially for someone who has lost a child, I know it can be hard. I know it can be tough, and it's hard to embrace what what is going on in your body now because you're constantly stuck on what might go wrong. But um, I'm here to give you a little bit of encouragement to say that if you are a believer in God, just trust God and know that God has you, God has your child, and see everything is going to work out perfectly fine. You just have to set the worry aside, set the stress aside, and just know that God has you in His hands, and He's going to take care of you and your baby. And just continue to pray for a healthy and safe delivery and a healthy and safe baby. And that's what I'm continuing to do. I'm continuing to learn to embrace every part of this pregnancy, and um, I'm just thankful for every symptom, every craving, every kick that I'm now able to feel on a regular, um, just everything. And this is just an encouragement for someone who maybe going through the same thing or dealing with it or don't know how to deal with those feelings. And I hope that I can help you a little bit with my story and my journey. Um, but yeah, that was pretty much my first trimester. Like I said, I'm well into my second trimester, or almost into my third trimester by now. But I wanted to make sure that I got this video out before I got out of my second trimester, so that I can go into doing my second trimester update. But I can say now that everything has been going the way that it should be going. I'm blessed. I'll say that over and over and over again because I am blessed, and carrying any child is a blessing. And I'm just thankful. I'm just grateful that God has seen fit for me to be here, for me to be at this point. And I just can't wait to meet her. Of course, I want her to go to term, but um, so I'm not rushing it or anything. But I'm excited. I'm excited about what's to come. I'll give you what my belly looks like today, even though it's not a first trimester belly update, but this is it. I've always measured at least a week ahead of what my uterus is always measuring a week ahead of what I actually am. So yes, I had a belly pretty early on. Oh, another something that I had while I just thought about it, looking at myself. Let me just make sure that I add this in. I also experienced sore boobs. Yes, I had that symptom this time around. With my other kids, I didn't have sore boobs in the first trimester. That didn't come until later on, maybe like the third trimester. But yeah, that was very much here this time around. Um, yeah, like they hurt and they grew very early. They started growing very early. They were very sore to the touch, movement, anything rubbing against them. Yeah, they were very sore this time around. Um, and that stopped probably all of my first trimester symptoms pretty much went away or started to fade maybe a week before I ended my second trimester. So um right on track. But yes, I did have that symptom that time around. Um, that symptom is probably gonna resurface when the milk comes in and everything. But yes, I had very sore boobs in the first trimester. But yeah, that pretty much sums up my first trimester update. I'm gonna try to get the second one out as soon as I enter my third trimester, or maybe even before, because I mean, not much is really changing other than me growing and all of that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe um, for future updates and everything. And I just thank you for watching. Bye.